I think with all respect, I think that you've touched on something that is you've talked on something that is an issue. Certainly, there are people in the United States who very proactively, I did see the National Geographic edition that showed our tar sands. But let's also look at the reality. The reality is that we are the second largest producers of greenhouse gases in the world, after the United States. The last time I checked the statistics was in, I think, 2010 or 9. And we were, each individual, responsible for about 24 tons of CO2 per person per year. That number will increase. That will increase as our economy picks up, particularly when it picks up in the oil sands, because a tremendous amount is produced out there, although at the moment it's only 5 or 6% of the whole country. But that is a growth industry. Only the Americans produce more. In absolute numbers, the Chinese produce the most, but there's 1.3 billion of them, and therefore they're down at 6 tons per person.
Now we're talking about statistics.
Yes, but the reality is that we are per capita the second largest producers of greenhouse gases on the face of this planet. And secondly, let me say, and I'm biased here, that I do not think that Canada showed leadership either in Copenhagen, in Bali before that, or in it was a little bit better in Cancun, but not much better. So part of it has to do also with the approach that the Conservative government takes towards this issue. The Liberal Party, for the record, believes, and Michael Ignatieff has been quite clear on it, that you cannot sort of say it's either the environment or it's energy and the economy. You have to accommodate both of them in a responsible manner. And I can tell you from having been involved with the tar sands, the oil sands, and I say this because I do have experience with that particular area, I think that industry out there is prepared to accept whatever restrictions government imposes on them. They will look at it. If there are limits to what they can produce, they'll look at it, they'll say, is the business case good? And they'll go ahead. If the business case is bad, depending on the price of oil, they'll just put their tools down. But they are ready to do it as long as there are uniform standards across the entire oil sands industry. So I think that the time has come to put those constraints in front of industry and to harmonize our desire to reap the economic benefits, get the energy that we need, and also take care of the environment. And I think there's a way to do it, but so far that has not happened. That requires some leadership as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go quickly now because, Guy, you had your finger up.
Well, some people might want to go before me. I had my finger up most of the time on most of the issues. But,
Okay, well then we'll go to Alan.
I just have one question, Mark. Margaret and I both came from Alberta. And I think, there's been a lot of discussion with Mr. Harper tonight as a conservative. We can debate this forever. I'm not so sure that he's a conservative. He comes out of the Alberta tradition wanting to run the Peter Lougheed model, wanting to run a corporate Canada. He's made it very clear that he wants to destroy the Liberal Party, and he wants a government to run Canada as a corporation, which raises very quickly the question, we had a Liberal government for 3 terms. Mr. Chrétien's birthday was yesterday, with Sir John A. Macdonald's. And we had that Chrétien government because the Conservatives were divided. They were divided between the Reform, Progressive Conservatives. And we now have a situation where roughly 40–50% of this population is against the Harperites, which raises the question, and how do you feel about the possibility of the New Democrats and the Liberals uniting as a... No, I mean, you've got Bob Rae in the party already. You've got, he was almost our leader, or the Liberal Party leader. I'm wondering whether any consideration has been given and how you would feel to a union of the NDP and the Liberals, simply, if for no other reason, to rid us of that man.
Thank you. Now, look, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Put your